What is good, YouTube? It's your boy D4P back again with another video, and today we are reacting to we all know why Jaden Ivy is crashing out. You guys, I'm going to say this, and if you're watching this, shout out to you. It's Good Friday. Happy Good Friday. This is a result of, I don't want to say like religious psychosis, but then in the Christian community, it gets to a point where I don't want to say people become radicalized. That's not the word to use. But then thing is, people, bro, I don't want to say people take it too far either. And I don't want to say that because, if you do follow like a religion, then of course you're going to, like you're going to want to follow it all the way through. Very understandable. But then this is a situation where this guy, was in the NBA, is in the NBA, and it's affecting his career. On one hand, in the Bible it says that you will be persecuted for your beliefs and all of that. But on the other hand, now that I'm a bit older, I don't really like the sound of that. But anyways, you guys, let's get into the video.
Former number 5.
And subscribe, like I come in with, energy. I come in with the most chill vibes, like, come on, man. I'd appreciate it.
Pick Jaden Ivy is crashing out so hard, he might lose his career. The Chicago Bulls announced they have waived Jaden for conduct detrimental to the team after he went on an IG Live rant against gay people. But it's not just that. Something is deeply disturbing about these last few days. Before this happened, a Reddit user posted something was off. They said Jaden Ivy might be having a mental breakdown on Instagram, going on these hour-plus long religious rants. We have seen things like this recently with like a Kai Jones. But this one is different. See, Kai was always a fringe NBA player trying to make it. Jaden was...
Yeah, Jaden was already good, bro. Like, Jaden was on the I'm stammering. On the Pistons, bro, he was nice. Like, it was a known fact that it was him and Cade, and then apparently he got traded.
Considered a core piece of the Pistons just a few years ago. He and Cade Cunningham were about to take over the league before everything went wrong.
Alright, you guys, I'm not going to lie. I already tried reacting to this video. Like, I tried reacting to it, but then it didn't like, bro, it didn't play properly, So now I am here reacting to it again. You guys bear with me. I've already seen the video, but let's watch it again.
So let's go over how we got here, because this might be the saddest example of a young player losing everything right in front of our eyes in real time. But you've got to understand where he came from to get what went wrong. This is crucial. He's a 6'4" combo guard whose mom was a standout at Notre Dame. She was even the head coach, so he comes from a basketball family, lots of expectations. Jaden was a 4-star prospect, went to Purdue, known for driving to the rim, shot creation. So after 2 years in college, the Pistons took him 5th overall in the 2022 NBA draft.
I didn't even know that he went that high. I didn't know that he went that high. 5th overall is really good.
As a foundational piece next to Cade, who they took number 1 the year prior. As a rookie, they gave Jaden freedom to be himself. He made mistakes, but year 2 was a jump. Much more efficient, game slowed down. His chemistry with Cade was clicking, but year 3, he really took off. Not only was the efficiency at a whole new level, but dude was explosive. When Cade was out, Jaden was leading the offense, on his way to being a legit star in the league. But then, January 1st, 2025, Pistons hosting the Magic. Jaden collides with Cole Anthony and is on the ground in pain.
I actually remember this whole situation. I remember this entire situation, bro. It was him and Cole Anthony. And it was like, at the end of it, he said, and like I said, I've already seen this video, but he was thanking God, he said that, like, this situation is going to bring him closer to God, which, funny enough, with everything that's going on, you could say it did.
He's taken off on a stretcher, and the season was over just 30 games in. Now, it was a fibula injury at first that led to a surprise knee surgery the following preseason. That's career-altering at 22 years old. But to make things 10 times worse, when he returned that year, the Pistons had moved on without him. While Jaden was out, they took a massive leap as a franchise and didn't really need him anymore.
And that's the thing about the NBA, bro. I remember when I was a kid, I really, really, really wanted to, play pro basketball and everything. But when you see the amount of disloyalty there is in pro basketball, it's like this is a crazy career. On one hand, one NBA contract will change your entire life. Like one NBA contract is worth millions of dollars, depending on how good you are, or hundreds of thousands of dollars, like you're good. But like at the same time, it's just crazy how like they just let go of people with no remorse.
Ball not in his hands, his explosiveness not automatic anymore, which meant now that all the games really mattered, minutes were not guaranteed like they were before. So sadly, on February 3rd of this year, the Pistons traded Jaden to the Bulls for pennies. Now, some thought, hey, that could be a boost to his career again on a rebuilding team, but instead, it got worse. For example, look at this pass that Jaden tried to throw against the Nuggets. What the heck was that? It's funny unless you know what's really going on behind the scenes. A young man whose entire identity was just taken away from him is panicking. So on February 19th against the Raptors, for the first time in his life, Jaden got a DNP CD. Did not play, coach's decision, which means you're healthy, coach just thinks you suck. And if you get a DNP on the rebuilding Bulls, your career is on super thin ice. Jaden had gone from path to NBA stardom to DNP in Chicago in just over a year.
That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. But like it gives you an understanding of like why you feel the need to get closer to God. Because when you're going through all this, like what? You were like on a good team, then you get injured, and then you go to another team, and they're sitting you? Bruh.
414 days to be exact. That would be brutal. But oddly enough, that is not when this crash out happened. Something else happened that really tipped everything over the edge and started this real downfall. But you guys know that I take my health very seriously, and I like to stay in shape by lifting weights, but 90% of this thing is diet. My go-to is FitFoods with code AMH25. So after getting that DNP February 19th, Jaden did not play again for the Bulls. You can see like a bunch of missed games at the end. Well, the team said he was injured. And on March 26th, they announced he's done with knee surgery. I am sorry, another knee surgery out of nowhere is end of career type stuff at 24 years old. So 2 days after that.
Yeah, end of career type stuff at 24 years old. It's crazy because he's only 24, bro. Like, wow. The NBA moves so fast. I remember Jared McCain, him getting injured. That one was actually very, very sad for me. Like, I was like, damn. Like, and then he gets traded to the OKC Thunder. But he was playing out of his mind his first year. I didn't like that, bro. But now they have VJ Edgecombe, which, yeah, he's better than Jared McCain, 100%. But, like, it's just tough how, like, that happened.
Things got weird. Ivy went on Instagram Live and started preaching for over an hour. End time stuff, Book of Revelation. And I'm not here to mock anyone's faith, okay? But he did have trash bags covering his entire car in the background, okay? Don't know what that means, I'm just pointing it out. And people noticed immediately. That Reddit thread said Jaden might be having a mental breakdown. Turns out Reddit was onto something because 24 hours later, he went on IG Live again. This time, he crossed a line that the NBA does not tolerate. He called out the league for celebrating Pride Month, said it wasn't righteous. So the Bulls released him hours later. Now, I'll be honest, they were probably looking for a reason to release him, okay? If Jaden wasn't damaged goods, they probably would have kept him.
Calling a human being, bro, damaged goods is crazy. And that's a human being with a family, kids, and because he's injured and he's going through something, now he's damaged goods? Damn.
Called it a mental episode, right? That is messed up, I will admit it. But Ivy wasn't done. He went on live again, this time from the airport, still preaching, but out of nowhere called out Steph Curry.
That's why you got Steph Curry, and he not even surrendered. And y'all believe he's a Christian. He don't know Jesus. Y'all believe he's a Christian because he wrote Philippians 4:13.
My favorite part of that is the flight attendant in the background being like, if anyone is on their phone, please turn it off. And to make this somehow even worse is the timing. Jaden is a restricted free agent this summer, which means if he does not land with another team soon, he could lose out on tens of millions of dollars. But
I think his contract is $10 million right now, and $10 million is a lot of money. That's enough money to retire very comfortably. You know, you could even retire your parents with $10 million. Like, how much money do you need? How much money do you need? But at the end of the day, it's just tough how much money he's throwing away. And on one hand, like, of course in the Bible it does say, like, these things, you can't take them to heaven with you. These are all worldly possessions and blah blah blah. But at the same time, like, we're not going to lie and say money doesn't help in life. It really does.
not making it to that big second NBA contract. But why is this even happening? Well, we have known that Jaden is religious for quite a while. When he was on Detroit and he broke his leg, he said, I have peace because I know Jesus is with me no matter what. I know this situation is going to help me grow even closer to him, and I already feel it, which is amazing. Like, that's hopeful. But then the exact same theme turned a little dark. When he got that DNP, he told reporters, I'm not the old J.I. That J.I. is dead, referring to this. And ESPN says, Ivy was outspoken about his religious beliefs in Detroit, but his intensity ratcheted up during his tenure in Chicago, which agitated some team staff members who described Ivy as preachy around the locker room, sources told ESPN. And this latest episode seems less constructive.
Yeah, you guys, let me know what you guys feel about, like, pushing religious beliefs. Because on one hand, people are like, yo, don't push your, like, religious beliefs and blah, blah, blah. But they literally push the LGBTQ community into everything in society. I find it very interesting. On one hand, me with the LGBT community, like, how do I put this? I have no hatred. If you want to, sleep with someone of the same gender, like, that is your business, cool, in the most non-hateful way. Like, that's the life. Like, they're not harming anybody. They're just living their own truth. So why do we have, like, do you get where I'm coming from? They're living their truth, and you're living your truth. Why can't we live our truth in peace?
And more destructive, like self-destructive. So it seems like this trend in him has gotten more extreme the more his career has spiraled out of control. And believe me, I have no problem at all with dude preaching his religion. Like, remember that Hawks player, AJ Griffin? This kid quit basketball to preach full time.
Yeah, I remember that. But at the same time, like, if you get your NBA bag, and then you get your rookie contract, it's worth like $2 million, $5 million. Then you dip, like, I mean, that's just life.
And his career was doing okay. Dude did this with a smile on his face. That is not what we're seeing here. This crash out reminds you more of Akai Jones, who dealt with mental health. Of course, we can't confirm that because we don't know Jaden, but the pattern is there. Bottom line, this kid had his entire life taken away in the most tragic way possible. He was playing great, career ascending, then a freak injury takes it all away, and to make things worse, his team then moves on without him, leaves Jaden in the dust, then they trade him to another team who doesn't need him. No wonder the kid sees worldly things will let you down.
It's true. It's facts. Like worldly things will let you down, but then when you have faith in a higher power, it really does feel like, well, even though the world is going to let me down, at least, I'm safe in heaven. Totally understandable, reasonable crash outs, in my opinion. And I think it's tough how, like his wife, apparently his wife has been, like, not talking to him or something like that. tough situation.
And he's right. I just hope that he can apply it in a healthy way, because right now, the signs aren't looking good. But that story of AJ Griffin is fascinating. This
Hey, you guys, I'm going to end the video there. If you made it this far, shout out to you. And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you guys think that this is a reasonable crash house? In my opinion, it's very reasonable. You know, because what do you mean I was on this team, I get injured, and then you trade me, and now I'm on the Bulls, and I'm guessing sats, you know? Nah. But you guys gotta comment and subscribe. I'm coming through.